All
So
right,
I
we're
just
off to the
got it.
races.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, Carmody, first, thank you so much for joining. It's an honor. Um, I have obviously a million questions for you on this record, but I thought I'd start with, it's been a long time coming. You've been working on this project for a long time. So I'm curious, how does it feel to have it out in the world and people connecting with it?
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. So it's been like 3 years ish of work. You never kind of imagine getting to this point, and then you do, and then you're like, oh my God. And like, it's so nice when it resonates with people, and been getting like a few messages, and yeah, it really means a lot to like communicate the stuff that was inside my head to the outside world now. Yeah, it feels great.
I can imagine. 3 years is a long time, especially just like with the velocity of music coming out nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, you kind of mentioned never imagining getting to this point. Like, were there moments where, it just didn't seem feasible, or, you know, things were cropping up that may have prevented, you putting the amount of time you wanted to put into it, or was it always kind of, I mean, imagine it wasn't always straightforward, but it's a long
Yeah, so
time.
it was a strange journey because I did release 2 EPs while writing the record. So they were kind of songs. Well, the first EP was songs that didn't feel like they fit in the album. So I released that, and then unfortunately in like 2019, my father passed away really suddenly, and then I just had this real urge for some strange reason to like write an EP about that. About my grief, and so that kind of took away from the album for about 6 months, but it felt an important thing to do. There was also one more thing that kind of delayed it a bit, which is like I got to the point with the producers where we'd reached like 8 or 9 songs, but I just felt, or maybe 8 songs, but I just felt like there was something missing. And I guess because it was such an expansive time, I felt like I needed to add some more songs because, the record is about family. And during those 3 years, my family and my like family constellation completely changed. And so it felt like appropriate and important to like add more songs to the project, so it was like relevant to where I was now, as opposed to where I was at the beginning of the project.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just kind of a lot of like interweaving tapestries from life's experiences. And yeah, if it hadn't been about family, maybe it would have come out quicker, I guess. But that's kind of why it took a while.
Yeah, well, to your point, it very much mirrors life events and everything that happened. A lot of life happens in 3 years. So anyway, I'm you mentioned it already, kind of getting a bunch of messages and whatnot. But I've also gotten kind of an interesting kind of flip side perspective on it too, kind of like with the group discussion, the album club, we everybody who joined, the dialogue we had on the record. It's been really cool to see kind of like how fans and listeners are engaging with each other and the project itself. So it's just, I guess that's a long-winded way of saying cheers, hats off. It's really an amazing body of work, and like you said, people are really engaging with it and kind of wrestling with some of the big concepts there. So it's been a lot of fun, I guess, is maybe another way of saying that.
Great, thanks. No, thanks so much for asking me. I love the concept of
yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, there's, like I said, I hope it's okay if I go maybe a little bit of out of order on some of the songs and questions I sent along, but I've been dying since we went through these questions to ask about the kind of the banal moments of beauty. I believe that one's strange, and it's such a beautiful concept, and I mean, speaking personally, like kind of easy to forget. So I'm curious, like, what are some of the moments of beauty that have either struck you recently or actively striking you in their beauty, and that it's concept.
Yeah, so I don't know if I put this in the text, but strange was just like an account of me walking from my flat to my therapist's house, and I have to go through the graveyard. And when I was walking through the graveyard, was like voice noting and recording a happy birthday message to my cousin, and I thought this is kind of beautiful in a really strange way. Like I'm amongst all the dead, you know, all the people who are like swimming around the afterlife, and I'm just here singing something that's about life, you know. And it was just kind of a weird image, but it was really beautiful. So that's kind of where it spun out from. And then I was like, actually, every walk is, you know, every time you step out your house, there's, you know, without, I mean, it sounds very wanky, but there's always poetry there. Like there's always poetry in the everyday, I think. And yeah, I think I was really struck by that and really inspired by people like Arctic Monkeys. I don't know how big they are in the US. You know, who just write about, and like Phoebe Bridges, who just kind of write about the everyday, but the everyday is actually so beautiful, and we forget that. But yeah, I think with that question, one of the images that struck me recently was I was like walking across one of those terrible bridges on a motorway. You know, where you just kind of walk past and the motorway chaos underneath, but it'd just been raining and the sun had just come out, and then these cars were like driving and they were creating these rainbows with as they like sped along, like this white mist and these rainbows. And I was like, wow, we found like beauty in this really hideous motorway. You know, so I guess those kind of things, they feel important to even recognize beauty in things that you just wouldn't expect.
Yeah, well, so the kind of the first visual of the happy birthday along the cemetery, that is it, like you're right, kind of haunting and eerie and beautiful in its own way. And that's just, I mean, a really cool story, really cool visual. And not to, you know, make this about me, but speaking also of kind of like the you know, rain and whatnot, like I said, I live in San Francisco, and California has this like massive drought issue, which is a whole other thing. But it basically never rains, obviously, with the drought. But the other day, I was up pretty early for whatever reason, and we actually got some rain. And you know, normally it's, you know, sunny, we get all these great sunsets and whatnot. But it's kind of to your point about the cemetery, like kind of the opposite almost seemed beautiful in some ways. Like, oh, it's raining, kind of icky, and but again, we needed it, and I don't know. So anyway, that's one that got me recently. So I hear you on that.
The rain was a gift, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely was. But anyway, so like I said, I've been waiting to ask that question for a couple weeks now. Thanks for humoring me. So the next one I wanted to ask about was hurricane, actually. And side comment, it was kind of fun this morning to like put the record on, and I had some coffee brewing in like anticipation of this conversation. So anyway, it's a great morning vibe as well. But you know, you mentioned specifically in the little write-up about some of the like phrases or you know, things your grandmother would say. I'm curious, do you have, I think you said you wrote them down. Am I making that up maybe?
Yeah, no, I have. Yeah, I do write them down. Most of them are not as poetic as that. They're just kind of little bit insulting sometimes.
A little biting, sure.
But yeah, she's just an amazing woman. But yeah, were you going to ask about some sayings? Because
I was going to ask, if you had any like favorites or ones you revisit or maybe don't, or
so one that she loves to repeat is "truth is truth." So that's her like justification for being quite honest, which is quite refreshing. I mean, in British like culture, people tend to like skirt around the things that are glaringly obvious but might be awkward to talk about, but she just goes right in there. So that's and she's I guess the main one from the song was that she's told me once that she doesn't dream in color. If she never dreams, but if she does dream, it's never in color. And I just thought it was such a strange and wonderful concept. I was like, I have to put it in.
That's an interesting. Okay, sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's so. Yeah, it was really interesting because I'd never met anyone who said they yeah, dreamed in black and white. So I was like, I've got to put that in a song, basically.
Yeah, I've got to think that's a really interesting one. Because I actually don't remember my dreams either. Like I would be convinced I
Mm.
didn't dream, but I'm sure there's like some just brain activity I don't recall in the mornings. But that plus the black and white pieces fast. Like I'm trying to like actively trying to process what that must be like. But that's a really interesting one. So is truth. It's right
Yeah,
to the point.
truth is truth. um yeah, so I like, you know, she's got other ones that are a bit more like, she always says to me she speaks four different languages. So she so she says, I speak four different languages, you speak two, English and rubbish. It sounds way harsher
Fair
than she
enough.
is, but it's just really funny. You just have to take it with like a pinch of salt.
Sure.
But yeah, she does amazing things. Like when my great aunt died, I went round to her house and I was so upset, but it was a really hot summer's day, and she was just like, "You need to go and clean your car. Like, just get the hose and just wash your car. Like, busy your mind." And I was like, it's just such a like simple thing to ask me to do, but it really did distract me from
Mm.
that, you know, real feeling of sadness that obviously you need to feel, but you don't need to feel all the time. So yeah, she's like wise in a very like yeah, I don't know what the word would be.
Yeah.
Subtle way. Wise in a
Sure.
very subtle way. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that almost goes back to maybe I'm just connecting dots that don't exist, but almost kind of like the banal moments piece, like just kind
Mm,
of going back to that um, whatever's normal or routine, be it washing a car or
yeah.
whatever that is. But anyway, how's she doing nowadays?
She's good. Yeah, she just had COVID, so that hasn't
Oh
been great,
no,
but she's okay. She just
on the
feels a
road.
bit
Okay.
tired. And we went shopping yesterday, which is her favorite thing to do. So
Well,
that
okay,
was,
I'm glad to hear, she's on the road to recovery.
yeah,
That's
she's on the
that's scary.
road. Yeah, COVID's a scary thing. It's scary how it affects everyone so differently as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, nothing a little shopping can't help, it sounds like.
yeah.
Okay. Well, again, I'm jumping around a little bit here, but I kind of wanted to hit on some kind of the main things. And another aspect of one of the songs that really jumped out to me was "Morning," and um, specifically the line in the write up you shared about kind of the physical presence or lack
Mhm.
thereof. And I'm curious, is there a balance for you between physical and non-physical reminders of someone? And what I mean by that, if I can elaborate, that was maybe a little
Yeah,
vague,
please do, yeah.
is one thing. So my grandfather died a few years ago, and
Mm,
one thing that we planted a tree for him. So we see it like right outside this window, and it kind of grows, obviously. um,
mm,
and that was the first time or my family had ever done something like physical to
mm.
remember someone. And I really love that tree, of course. But I'm curious at the end of that ramble is like, is there a balance for you between physical and non-physical? Do you skew one way or the other, etc.?
You mean like physical and non-physical ways to
Yeah.
remember people? To be honest, I think I need to, you know, take inspiration from you in terms of planting trees, it's because I haven't done enough of that. Like I do a lot of writing. I find the like physical process of writing about
Mm-hmm.
memories and the people that are absent really important. Um and yeah, but I don't think I do enough to like, yeah, physically bring them into the world a bit more. But I guess writing songs is kind of a
Yeah, that counts. Absolutely
physical
counts.
way of like remembering someone. But for me, a lot is kind of memory and living
Mm-hmm.
in the past, dare I say, like bringing up the past
Yeah.
and um yeah, holding it like as an important part of my like present and future.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'd like to do more physical things. One of the things I have done is I got my dad's ashes put in a necklace.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
so I just carry that around with me a lot, which is really nice. And I write like him a Christmas kind of message every year that I'm hoping to kind of
Beautiful.
keep going, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah, I think that kind of, so there's one thread to pull out there, which is like um, the extent to which the reminders are physical.
Mm,
And I'll echo your point there. It's like this was kind of just that one thing we did that one time, but
mm,
it is a nice, I guess, dynamic, if you will. But not common either. It doesn't seem, and
mm.
though easy to do, it may be a little different. But um, anyway, that's kind of a side comment. The other thing I wanted to linger on, and I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, kind of one of the other themes in the record is staying present.
Mm.
And I'm wondering, in again with different um, again dynamics there, if you will, be it loss or just a stroll through the park that keeps you present. I'm wondering if you have any mechanisms or routines that kind of keep you present.
Yeah, this is something I struggle with. I think I probably am more present than I think I am, but
Mm,
yeah, I've been doing a lot of like breath work. I find like, like controlling how much breath you're taking in and taking out like can really
yeah.
help calm you down and feel more present. Obviously walking, and then when it's cold, I love cold water swimming. I
Mm,
feel like that's the only thing that really keeps me present because it's so cold that like you actually can't think of anything else.
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and then I guess stuff like stream of consciousness where you're not allowed to like put like a full stop, or what do you guys call them? Um
I'm
uh,
not totally sure. Just
like just when you close a sentence, um you have a different word than a full stop, right?
oh no,
When you're
well, I use full stop.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Maybe
I'm
I'm
gonna look that up.
yeah.
No, no. Ignore me.
No.
Yeah, so I just think like that's the only, and you can kind of access your unconscious then because
Mhm.
your conscious mind isn't really like getting in the way of anything and you're
Yeah.
just kind of in the moment. But I do struggle with it. And meditation is something this year that I've been trying to like really work
Mm,
on, but it's a real lesson and it's a real like journey. Yeah, obviously you
yeah.
never master meditation, but I'd like to get a bit more like equipped.
No, I know exactly what you mean on the meditation piece. And again, it's some really interesting physical and non-physical dynamics you described
Mm,
there, which is probably a good balance. But yeah, I would agree with you. I've tried over the last like year or so. Honestly, I could probably try harder, but um, like sticking to meditation, because
mm,
I will say like I don't know about you, but I notice the like the positive effects of it like pretty quickly when I do
mm,
it. But I haven't like found a way to make it stick yet, as far as like
mm.
a daily routine goes.
Yeah,
So I guess I'm rambling, but I hear you there. It's very much a practice that's requires a lot of tending, it
yeah,
seems.
sure.
Um, and that's another. So again, I'm jumping around a little bit here, but you mentioned stream of consciousness, and I think that was again kind of a major piece of one of the other songs. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Replace.
Yeah.
Okay, nailed it.
Mhm.
And I'm curious, like that approach to songwriting, how typical or atypical is that for you?
It's very atypical. Like I don't usually do it. And it was actually the guy I wrote the song with, he's called Patrick James Pearson. He just had this idea of, because I came up with this melody and it was like da 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 da, and he was like, you could actually put most like words to that, so we just need
Mm,
to like think of the syllables as we're writing, and we just like got all these scraps of paper and like wrote images down
cool.
and then like put them both together and like picked from them, and like yeah, they ended up being really relevant. Like um it was weird because he'd been like through quite a lot of personal things that were similar to me as
Mm,
well. So I guess we were creating some kind of energy between us that was like from different perspectives, but still had a similar feel to it. Um, so yeah, it was great. And it's the first time I've done something like that. Usually I go more like along a narrative, and it
mhm.
was still a narrative, but like I just thought that is kind of what grief can be like,
Mhm.
lots of different images and chaos and yeah, kind of like trying to grasp at different things. So it just felt like it fit the song perfectly, rather than having something so linear. Yeah, that's the other, the
Mhm.
main, yeah, is that grief is so non-linear. It's
Yeah.
bizarre. Like, you know, you have a breakup usually with someone and you're like, okay, I feel sad now, and then the sadness lessens as the months
Mhm.
progress and you still miss them, but and it feels very like the flow of how things should be. But then grief, you can be like, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
And then, you know, 6 months, you have like a couple of great months, and then you'll go right back to the beginning. And it's so unexpected. And you just, it's an emotion you just can't control or predict. So I
Yeah.
guess that's what I kind of wanted to bring out in Replace.
Yeah. Well, so many things to follow up on there. And yeah, I mean, it definitely, was brought out. I'm curious, rookie question though, as far as like the, or not, maybe I should say non-musician question, as far as
Yeah.
like the composition piece goes, like, is that also like atypical as far as other, best songwriting best practices go? Or is this like something a lot of other people do? I ask the question behind the question is, I actually just wasn't familiar with kind of that approach before. So I'm kind of curious to get like just how commonplace or different that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. Isn't it Brian Eno has like, I think, doesn't
Mm,
he have methods that are quite similar to that? But I'd never done it before like that. It was
interesting.
Patrick's idea. But it was a really enjoyable process.
Yeah. Well, it
Um,
sounds fascinating. Like I appreciate you kind of walking through that because it's just different and it sounds, to your point, like a really good fit for the project overall, or
yeah,
the song overall. Excuse me.
yeah. I think it was just like fun to approach different songs in the album in different ways rather than just go for it in a traditional kind of way I've always written songs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and then so that was kind of the one thing I wanted to follow up on. And then the other being kind of like the ever like evolving nature of grief.
Mhm.
Because yeah, to your point, it's like um I don't know. I've been, actually been trying to think about how to articulate it since, hearing the song, and it maybe kind of aligns with the idea overall, but I've actually kind of struggled to put it into words.
Mm,
But it almost like the visual that comes to mind for me is like almost as if like I was on crutches at one point, rolled an ankle or
mm,
whatever. And it was almost like losing the crutches. Um, and it's so funny. Well, it's not funny, but I was talking to a friend this past weekend about um, uh, a friend's dad who passed away as well. And
mm,
obviously, the friend had tremendous grief, but this was when I was living somewhere else. So this friend's dad was
mm,
also kind of like my own in some way. And this was, a few years ago. And even in the time that's passed, like every now and then, I realize, like, wow, this is like still there and still
mm,
needs to be dealt with. And
mm.
you're right, like time goes by, and it's maybe, I don't know, forget isn't the right word, but like the immediate, yeah, sadness kind of
Mm.
dissipates a little bit, but
Yeah,
comes back, right? You
yeah.
realize like, oh my God, there's still like a lot to be dealt with here. So
Mm.
anyway, that was a little bit of a ramble, but I guess the point of it is like, it was a great way to put the song together. It really resonated,
Yeah.
and yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So anyway,
Mm. No,
um,
thank you.
and also, again, just in the interest of time, I realize I'm jumping around a little bit, but I wanted to ask about Brother as well. And, just about this person, what are some of their passions in life? What makes them, who they are?
Mm.
Anything you're comfortable sharing there, I'd love to.
No, of course. So his name is Alex, and my sister met him in Liverpool, like quite like maybe 5 years ago now. He was doing some volunteering for like a homeless society, and so was she. And um, he doesn't celebrate Christmas. He's from Iran, but like when she was coming back for Christmas, she was like, "Can I bring my friend? He's going to be all alone. It would really mean a lot to me." And to be honest, we were like slightly ambivalent because
Mm,
initially, yeah, Christmas can sometimes be like yeah, quite sacred family time. And, you know, sometimes you worry if there's a stranger, but he came and it was amazing. And like, we all just fell in love with him. And, you know, like it was, yeah, it just made the Christmas, like new. And, we did what you're meant to traditionally do at Christmas, which is like open your door to people
Yeah.
who are in need. And that felt really important. And then he was going through a really tough time, like, in the February after Christmas, and my parents had a discussion and they were like, let's just invite him to live with us. And it kind of went from there. And yeah, like he's been so incredible to our family. And we've both helped it's been like a mutual kind of helping each other out with life as it continues. He was just amazing when my dad was dying. And yeah, it's been like, yeah, he helps the community a lot. He does a lot of IT with like the older women in
Nice.
our community. And because he's very patient. And he's just actually, I think, about to get a job working for a trance label, a Juna Beats or something, I'm not sure. So that's really exciting. And yeah, he's just an incredible person. Like, yeah, really inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm very glad to have met him, and like we always wanted a brother, he always wanted a sister, so it kind of like all slotted into place. And yeah, I feel like very privileged that he's part of our family now.
Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful. So it sounds like Alex is based in London still, slash
Yeah,
presently.
he's still living with my mum at the moment, but he
Okay.
recently got his leave to remain,
Mm.
so he can
Mm.
now work in the UK. And yeah, so he's looking to like move out and yeah, just be independent. But hopefully he'll still come for dinners and stuff.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's I mean, a really amazing story, and glad to hear that. Um, that it's something that starts small, like opening your door on one Christmas has kind of blossomed into a really another family member, which is
Yeah.
so beautiful. So
Yeah.
anyway, another really great part of the album. Um, so I'm just about out of your time here, but kind of in the last couple moments, is there anything you have coming up on the radar that or the roadmap that you want to talk about or mention? Anything we should keep an eye out for?
Oh, good question. Well, I'm hopefully releasing some live videos of my gig, which has lots of the album on it. And I'm actually working on a new project, which I'm thinking either at the beginning of next year or end of this year, but maybe that's very ambitious. And vinyl, which is exciting. So I'm just getting all the vinyl together, which I should have done a long time ago. But it's going to be so nice to have something physical in the world.
Mhm. Yeah, well,
Um,
that's so funny you mentioned vinyl. That was someone was asking in the group about vinyl, so I'll let them know.
oh,
That's very
great.
exciting.
Yeah, no, that's really nice to hear. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, has it been I feel like I've heard a little bit. I could be, my timeline could be off here, but that vinyl's been tough to come by. Has that
Yes.
been a bit of
It,
a to-do?
yeah, there's a lot of delays, and obviously it's quite long record. And actually, I've got like
Mm.
three more kind of B-sidey songs coming out as like bonus edition songs in the next 3 weeks. So yeah, it's been hard kind of working out how to like present the vinyl.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, there's big delays. I think it was like 6 months, but someone told me it's
Oh,
gone
wow.
down to 3 months now. But yeah, because of the
Ooh.
pandemic,
Yeah.
messed up everything for everyone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it sounds, I mean, that does not sound boring at all. We're getting right
Yeah.
back after a lot more music coming out, which is so exciting. But um, anyway, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you
Thanks. I
for
love the questions. They were amazing.
yeah, well, I appreciate your sharing and the thought. I know so they're kind of personal in nature too. So I appreciate again your just willingness to share and talk about all this. And the record was just so beautiful. So thank you for sharing your art with the world. It was really amazing to listen to, amazing to again talk to other people in the group about it. So
Yeah.
just a big thank you. And
Oh, thanks so much.
yeah, of course, of course.
Having me. I really loved being on on
Yeah,
what
yeah, of
a
course.
show,
We'll have
I
to.
guess, on the book club, on the book club.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll maybe we'll do another one for the other projects that come out too. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be
Um,
amazing.
and then last little thing, I'll send you the recording of this afterwards. So feel free to do whatever you want with it.
Cool.
Um, and with that, have a great rest of your day. Again, thank you so
Amazing.
much, and
Thanks so much.
take
Thanks for
care.
your time.
Likewise. All right. Bye
And
bye.
yeah, oh, do I need to do anything on the on that? There were some other questions that I haven't. Are they for the website? Because I haven't.
Yeah, there was a handful of questions that were for the group, and then I jotted down a whole bunch of questions I didn't know that we'd get to for this one.
I,
So they were kind of just backup slash to see where the conversation went. So
okay.
you're free to go.
Okay. Okay. No worries. Thanks so
All
much,
right,
Eric. Yeah,
take
let's
care.
stay in touch. Yeah.
Likewise. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.